Hello, Just Jax here and welcome to my channel. I had a little knob of air drying clay that's not really big enough to do anything substantial with. So I thought, well, what can I do that's going to be a little beneficial for people out there who have never done sculpting before? Let's just do something easy. We're not going to have any special tools. We've just got a bit of kitchen roll, a little drop of water, because this is air drying clay, cocktail sticks, lollipop stick. Lollipop stick, optional. Cocktail sticks are going to be really beneficial. They're both cheap and easy to get a hold of, especially the cocktail sticks. That's why I chose them. So you haven't got to go out and buy really expensive tools to get started. And then I was thinking, well, what's an easy place to start with sculpture that people are going to be relatively interested in? Well, the easiest thing to start sculpting is something that doesn't exist to begin with. So there's no object of reference. It's not going to be compared to anything. Now that could literally just be a blob that you just start mark making into, playing with the tools. So I thought we'll take it just one step further than that and we'll make it something that's recognisable, equally doesn't exist. So it's not going to be based off anything or anyone. So I thought, how about we just start with putting together a simple face. It's not going to be in reference to anyone, so you haven't got a point of reference. It's not going to be, oh, this is X, Y, and Z celebrity or X, Y, and Z family member. So no one's going to be able to look at it and go, well, that looks nothing like them. It's just going to be a simple face to start off. Just how to get some basic definition in places, just using your hands, cocktail stick, and lollipop stick. So I'm just going to work this a little bit just to soften it up because it has been sat for a good few months in a container, but waiting for me to do something with it. That's also where the water's going to come in. And I find with air drying clay, you don't want it too wet, otherwise it slips out your hands. It's like a bar of soap. But you want it wet enough that it doesn't crack. And you'll be able to feel when it's at that point, because it'll slip and slide under your thumb and you'll get a nice smooth finish. But if you squeeze it, it's not going to slip out. And the kitchen roll is there because you are going to get, especially if you don't wear gloves, so I like to do this so I can feel what I'm doing. You can wear gloves if you like. This will dry your hands out a little bit. So the kitchen roll is there so that every now and again I can wet my hands entirely, get all the dry stuff off and just rub them down quickly on there. So we're not going to go for a complicated face shape. We're just going to be pinching it in places. So roughly round. We don't mind about the back because we're not working on the back, we're just working on the front. And a little cinched in down the bottom. We're going to push it so it comes down a bit egg-shaped. So from that angle, a little bit egg-shaped. Like I say, we're going to keep it quite simple, so we're just going to use our fingers to dip in roughly where we want eyes to suggest, and the bridge of the nose. And then again, using our finger just under where the nose is going to be. And then bringing it in a little bit behind this little ridge here to suggest cheekbones. Round to where the mouth's going to be, roughly. So if I try and get that about there, I think you can see there's a little hint of definition coming in. Now this is where we're going to start playing with the cocktail stick. Well, we'll go, should we go cocktail stick first? We'll go cocktail stick first because you can use this in lots of different ways. So we're just going to roll it out like a little tiny mini rolling pin. And you just start to define that nose a bit more. Now, I tell you what, we'll drop the lollipop stick, we'll keep it with the cocktail stick. And this is how we're going to put a mouth in. We're just going to push it in. And use our fingers to make the mouth the size we want it. Now, I'm going to break the cocktail stick because we want this to work in our favour. And we're going to push that in. And start to create a bit of a chasm, but we're having it slope up. So it's like you put in a little triangle in there. And then below the lower lip, so we can start to form a lip shape. I'm going to do what we did, create the lip to begin with, but roll in at the same time. We're going to do the same for below the nose. And again, pushing in and up with a broken cocktail stick. So we're starting to get a bit of lip there. We're going to roll the corner of our cocktail stick around here to break down that groove. So we've got a bit more of a nose forming, a bit more of a mouth forming. Now what we're going to do is drop a little bit of water in there. And we're going to try and smooth off what's going on inside there. So you should be right now looking a little bit smoother in the mouth. You can always bring it, just by squishing the face around a little bit, bring it a little closer. And we're going to nip in around the chin. So we've got a little bit of shape going on now. So now we've got a basic mouth there. We're going to come up and work on the nose a little bit. So we're going to curve around the line that we've already got there to create the nostrils. We're going to use the broken end and carefully stick it up the nose and wiggle it around a bit. And we're starting to get a little nose shape. So what we're going to do is roll this arc down a bit. Repress in. So we're starting to get our bridge, but we're getting a little tiny definition with the nose here. So now we've got a mouth and a basic nose. Now the eyes, we're going to keep them simple today, because the eyes can get quite daunting. But if you look at a lot of old school sculptures, there's not a whole smack of detail going on the eyes. So again, we're going to keep it simple. And we are going to get some lines in roughly where we want the eyes to be. So that's roughly where we want them. And now we're going to be smoothing off those lines with the cocktail stick. Like, imagine you're smoothing back the upper eyelid, so it's not so much a line there anymore. It's more of a very, very fine groove. And the same across the bottom. And we're going to do the same going inwards this time for the eyeball. It's like you're taking away that very edge you've just made. Just to make everything a little bit rounder. Whilst doing this, you might flood out your grooves a bit, but that's fine. That's what the cocktail stick's there for. Now we're starting to get a bit more of an obvious face. Now, if you want, you can literally just go dot, dot for some irises. I think we're going to try and keep this as simple as possible. So at the moment, I'm not thinking about doing that. What I'm thinking of doing instead is bringing in a little line work. So your smile lines coming from the groove of your nostril around the edge of your lip and down the chin ever so slightly. Same again this side. Around the nostril side of the lip, down the chin slightly. And same for the corners of the eyes, just some little lines there to suggest that we've got a happy guy. Following the outer corner of the eye and just curving up and down. And you can do the same for the inside here, just a little corner of the eye and down a little bit. Now we're going to push in between the eyes and above the nose. Give it a bit of a brow. Now, your face is done if you want it done. You can add more simple detail if you like a little curve under the lip where the chin is. A bit of marking across the forehead, depending on how old or young or what expression you're trying to go for with your face. And we're just going to come down here and cinch these lips in a little bit because he's started to get really fat lips. Which again, if that's what you want, go for it. We'll get the philtrum in there. And there is our simple, I'll tell you what, we will give him pupils. He can be looking down. That's our simple beginner's sculpting of a basic face. We'll try, I think he's going to be in centre about there. Fingers crossed he is, I can't quite see. It's just a little simple face to start off. Have an experiment. It's not got to be perfect because it isn't anyone. It's just starting to have a play with the clay, manipulating it. There'll be other ways that you can do eyes, more fun ways of doing the eyes, more detailed ways of doing the eyes. Same for the mouth. And the bigger piece of clay that you're working with, the easier it is to do all of this stuff. And we have slight definition on the side. Let's just smooth off that crack. So I'm going to let him dry and then we'll paint him up, perhaps in the next one. This is just going to be a beginner's guide to sculpting. So, or like a starting point, an easy starting point to sculpting. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking me and my channel out. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope if you've never done sculpting before, you found this a little bit interesting, helpful. Again, like I say quite often on this channel, just give it a go. Those big blocks of clay, they're like £4 for, I think, a kilogram. And it's Das clay, which is pretty decent. Yeah, 1 kilogram, £4. If you shop around, you might find it even cheaper. And that, you'll get lots of trial and error out of that. Lots and lots. And if you don't like what you've done, you can screw it up and start again. Like if you like what you see. Comment if you've got something to say. And subscribe if you really like what you see and you want to see more and know when it's coming. Thank you all again so much. Take care. And see you in the next one.